Today's Lunch with Doug podcast is produced by the Music Exerbia Project and made possible by these great businesses. The Second Edition shop located at 500 East Cherry Street in fabulous Nevada, Missouri. Karen McNair, the friendly neighborhood nutritionist, at 269-267-4644. The Harry Frog Graphics at 150 North Commercial, or call them at 417-381-1077. The Boutique Marketplace, located at 500 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. The Nevada Coin at 123 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. The Gamers Fusion, 617 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. The Craft Tea, find them on Food Truck Pub or on Facebook. The Impact Graphics at 14144 East Highway 54 or call them at 417-283-2056. The Nevada Tobacco and Liquor Store at 125 West Cherry Street on the south side of the Nevada Square. And coming soon, the Red Cherry Alley at 125 West Cherry Street in fantastic Nevada, Missouri. I'm your host, Dangerous Doug Harper. Thank you for spending your lunchtime with me. Welcome back to another great episode of Lunch with Doug. I'm your host, Dangerous Doug Harper, and as promised today on the phone, the lovely, the talented Stacy Antonel. How are you, Stacy?
I'm good. Just got off work, so
yeah,
stoked to not be working.
Were you writing songs? What were you doing?
I am a personal assistant and a bartender.
Yeah?
So I was personal assisting for 7 hours right before this call.
So let's start from the beginning. Stacy, how did you get to Nashville?
I moved to Nashville in 2017 just because San Diego's not really a hotbed for country or for... I don't know. They have like a musical style there, but it's very Jewel and Jason Mraz and like Jack Johnson kind of stuff. Very like beachy and just not my vibe. So I wanted to move somewhere that liked Americana music and that would like stimulate and inspire me in that genre. So, and I was right. This remains the best place to live for that genre.
I discovered you on TikTok. You had a TikTok that went viral. And that's how I found you. I saw your viral TikTok video, or one of maybe two of them, and started kind of following you. And I was like, hey, this is a fantastic up-and-coming, probably the next country superstar. That's what I think. I mean, I see good things happening down there. So you were pursuing music full-time, kind of. I mean, I know you said you had a job, but the job is really just the job, right? Yeah. You were out in California. You were pursuing music seriously out there for how long before you moved to Nashville?
Probably like 2011 is when I joined my first band there. I lived in South America in 2010 and I started singing professionally there. Just totally randomly, I started singing jingles in English for like an Argentine composer for ads that aired throughout Latin America. So the ad itself was in Spanish, but I was always singing in English. And then that kind of got me singing. So when I moved back to California, to San Diego after living in Argentina, I started a band. And, it took, 5 years for me to really take it seriously as like the thing that I was going to do with my life, to fully devote all my time and money and stress to it. But here I am, stressed out and broke. So doing it right.
You are doing it right. You're right there. You're right at where it happens. So now that you're in Nashville, are you doing gigs there? Are you touring elsewhere, or what's happening in your musical life currently?
Both. I play gigs here, and then I also do tour a lot. I'm on the fence about how much to tour this year, just because it's hard, especially with inflation, and everything's just more expensive, and all Americans are going through the same thing. So yeah, I'm also not sure that it's like strategically smart to tour, because if nobody knows who you are and nobody does know who I am, I go to a new market and nobody comes to the show. So it's like, you could look at tour costs as an investment in your future, but if nobody's actually there to listen to you, it's really just kind of a waste. So that's why I went on TikTok to start, getting a fan base from my bedroom. Maybe it'll work.
It's worked. I'm your biggest fan, Stacy. I love what you got going on. And well, I did see the video where you were kind of joking about the touring life, and you were showing like traveling on the road. So I didn't know if that was just like a fun video or if that was like a recent, like you were touring recently. I didn't know.
I think filmed that in like August of last year. But yeah, touring is basically just driving forever, which is totally fine. I don't have a complaint about that. I love touring. I love singing live. Like, that's my main thing, is singing live. So I need to play live shows. It's how I came up, you know. I was singing in weddings and things like that for years before I even started writing my own songs. So I've always been a singer first and a songwriter second. So
and that's a good thing, because you're focused on being awesome at your craft, and then you can write a song that you can make it awesome. You have some releases out now that we can hear on the internet and such. Tell us about some of those.
Yeah, before, I mean, obviously my name has always been Stacy Antonel, but my band name up until like 2020 was Ginger Cowgirl. So I released one EP under that name. And then I decided to change my name just because I felt like I didn't want to have to do country for the rest of my life. And Ginger Cowgirl obviously is a name that evokes a very specific expectation. So yeah, I have on Spotify and all the streaming platforms, I have one album under Ginger Cowgirl and one under Stacy Antonel. And yeah, hopefully more coming soon.
So what's your best song? What's the hit? What's the one that everybody should be like punching in right now to their playlist?
I will say the hit is always The Outsider for Stacy Antonel, and for Ginger Cowgirl, it's 6 Weeks in Nashville. Those are my radio bops.
Radio bops. I like that.
Not that they've ever been on the radio, but if, you know, they could be radio bops.
They are now. Somebody very important is listening. Important person, make it happen. That's what we think, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
So, all right. So you got two really good songs under your two different monikers. That's cool. And what are we working on now? You got some new songs that you're doing in a live show that you haven't recorded yet? Sneak peek?
A few, yeah. It was taking me a really long time to sit down and write again, and I was feeling really guilty about that. And then I just decided not to feel guilty. So I'm just moving slowly, writing new songs. But yeah, I have a few that I'm playing out, and I have sort of blocked off March and April of this year. Like, I actually just quit my personal assistant job. And I'm just going to like force myself, because that's what it takes for me sometimes. Because, like I said, I'm a singer first and a songwriter second. I haven't actually written that many songs, so I don't really have a reliable like workflow or process. I just have to make myself do it, and that's really difficult for me when I'm in my house and in Nashville, where I can go to the bar and not do anything. So I'm booking a cabin in the Smoky Mountains for a week, and I'm just gonna force myself to write like 20 songs, and hopefully even a quarter of them will be great.
I think they'll all be great. This will be great. Cabin bookings. I like it. Didn't
Thank you.
Who were the guys that did that? Somebody did that one time. There was Art Simon and Art Garfunkel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they did that one time. They went and
Interesting.
Channeled in a cabin and wrote harmonies and stuff, and like almost killed each other, I think, while they were doing it. But they came out with a great album.
I'm sure.
If it wasn't those guys, it might have been the Messina. Who was it? Something in Messina.
Loggins and Messina.
And they got like a lawsuit going on right now, so we know that all will be done.
Well, I'm just going with myself, so it'll be safer. Not alienating any friends.
Okay. This is good, but
I mean, yeah.
until you get upset with yourself, then what happens? No.
Then I'm going to sue myself. It's going to be difficult.
That'll be difficult.
Past Stacy versus future Stacy. All the time, I'm like, what was I thinking when I made this set list? Why? So I already have beef with my past self. So.
Oh, don't we all? Don't we all? So what do you where do you play at in Nashville? You play some gigs on dare I say Broadway? Do you play on Broadway?
I don't really do the Broadway thing. I tried for a little bit a couple years ago. I just didn't like being told what to sing.
Yeah.
Like for the girls, they have like a list of girl songs you're supposed to sing, and then the guys sing all the, it's like to streamline it so they can put together bands of people that have never met before, and they all are drawing from the same well of material, but I don't have any interest in singing Carrie Underwood. Like, no shade, she's an amazing vocalist, but if I'm going to sing covers, I don't know. I want to sing the covers I want to sing. And I tend to prefer singing like Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard and Hank Williams. I don't know why.
Well, because they're great.
But they are great, but like, the songs that girls tend to sing, women I should say tend to sing, do show off my voice better. I don't know. I just don't like contemporary pop country, so I don't want to sing it.
I get it.
Even,
I get it.
Yeah.
So do you do venues down there where you can showcase your songwriting more, or do you do like kind of combo? What kind of shows are you doing?
Because it's tip based on Broadway and you don't make tips playing originals, there's just nowhere down there really to play originals, so I don't play down there at all. All the people I play with do, because, you know, as an instrumentalist, it's a different story, but I basically just play 45-minute sets of original music in Nashville, so like Dee's and Madison, this is Bobby's Idle Hour, kind of just the classics here in town.
Yeah.
I played at a yacht club the other night, but
hey, that sounds
yes,
big.
there's a yacht club in Nashville. Shocking. It's on Lake Hickory.
That sounds like a big win. Did it go over well? Did you sell some albums?
No, because I didn't bring any, but I'm a very smart businesswoman, can't you tell?
Stacy.
But no, that was a fun show. It was fun. It is basically throwing money away. It just feels so like awkward.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely awkward. If you're just you and a guitar, right? That's all you're doing these shows with? I
typically do duo. I'm not really... I mean, I started teaching myself guitar when I moved here in 2017, and I'm sufficient now, like, which is an accomplishment. I can play 2-3 hour gigs by myself if I want to. I just don't want to because I'm not good at guitar. Like, I can get through it, but I feel like to like put myself on my best foot forward to gain new fans, it's best to have somebody else playing with me. It's just a fuller sound, and I always play with amazing musicians, so then there's like, you know, you can draw on people that care more about guitar as well as people that care more about voice. And
yeah, no, that's awesome. Duo is perfect. You got the best of all worlds right there. So do you play with like a cast of whoever's available, or do you have a regular guitar player? How's this work?
I have a few regular guitar players. It's tough in Nashville just because everybody's kind of a hired gun here. So people are out on tours with other people and then they're not available. So it's rarely the same guitar player, but I have like my small crew of people that I prefer to play with and that do like prioritize me and will go on tour with me and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm kind of a weird case. My songs are weird, like not in a bad way, obviously. I don't think in a bad way, but they're not like intuitive, easy songs. So I feel like people think country is like, it's really easy. It's like 3 chords and the truth, but my songs aren't. So I kind of like need a guitar player that has a backup, like a education in jazz too, just because my songs are a little more complicated. So yeah.
More complicated.
I am. We are complicated.
But I have seen some of your TikToks, and I'm like, oh my god, did she just say that? Like, what? You're very candid, but that's very good. Because a lot of people aren't, and so when you come out and you're just very real, that really catches, you know. So I could see that in your videos. I was like, yeah, this person is really very sincere. They're very real. So everything really felt good. And then just as talking to you, I can feel that, you know. So that's going to go a long ways. I mean, I'm sure that people just want to book you just because of your personality a lot of times before they even have to hear you sing. Then they're like, oh damn, she's a fantastic singer too.
I mean, if I've met them, yeah. A lot of times I'm like blind emailing people, but it is. Yeah, the other day I played a show in Nashville just over the weekend, and she was like, I knew you were the right person to book on this show just because you're so funny and you have so many hot takes. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's weird to me because I'm not like, if you met me, you wouldn't think I was a funny person. But I don't know. In the context of like being on stage, I feel nervous. So I'm always just like making jokes to make myself feel better. So it comes off like I'm like an entertainer. So hey, whatever works.
That works then. Yeah, you've got us all duped. Well, that's see, that works. That works great for you. Then you get up there, you're nervous, and then you start throwing out this great stuff. You know, hey, that's cool. Yeah. Some of the comedians that probably would be jealous. They've worked hard and rehearsed that content over and over again. You know.
Oh my gosh, stand-up comedy, what a nightmare! I can barely watch it. It makes me so uncomfortable. I could never do it. Wow, these people are so brave. They are the bravest of all entertainers.
Yeah, it's totally risky. Where do you record at down there?
I recorded my last record in San Diego, actually.
Wow.
Which is kind of weird, but I don't know. Again, past Stacy. But no, at the time I think the album, like, sonically sounds great. I think it was the right decision to do it there. I don't know. Picking studios is, like, really stressful because you're about to sink, like, a lot, and I mean, like, $15,000 into a project, and you don't know. Like, it's just really stressful. I'm going to try to record in Nashville for my next record, just because all the players are here. Like, last time I flew my guitar player out to San Diego, it was COVID time, so things were just different at that time, but you want to find somebody that you have a good bedside manner with. These days, the time is money, so it's hard to feel relaxed in the studio, because, like, we did my whole record. We did 12 tracks in 3 days, and that's a lot. There's not a lot of time to, hey, what if we tried it this way, or what if we did it this way? Like, there's no experimentation, there's no looseness. Everything feels very, like, the clock is ticking, and I don't care for that vibe. So I think the key is just, like, having a lot of rehearsals before you go in the studio, which wasn't really possible for the last record because it was COVID, and I hadn't played any of those songs live because I had written them in COVID time, so the songs didn't have a chance to, like, grow and organically become themselves in a live setting before going to the studio. So that won't be the case now. So
if you're not on a record label, now are you just you've saved up $15,000, or do they finance you, or how does this work? I mean, how do you just throw them the cash? Is there
you throw them the cash? I mean, at my level, the industry's changed so much. It used to be, like, 30 years ago, maybe even 20 years ago, you could, like, producers and studio people would do things for less money or no money in exchange for, like, a point on the record or, like, some portion of the royalties. There just are no royalties anymore, so it's not in their interest to do that. So, and I'm of the mind, as is almost all of my friends, we're all just independent artists, and we want control over our work. Like, that is the dream, to have total creative control. Unfortunately, the flip side of that is you have to fund everything yourself. So that's why we all do Kickstarters. I did a $10,000 Kickstarter for my last record.
That's awesome. I'm impressed. Let me hold on. I gotta applaud you.
Oh.
That's freaking awesome. So what did you do in Kickstarter? I mean, how'd you do that? Just emails, Facebooking?
Yeah, basically, I still have an email list that I never use. Again, bad businesswoman, but mostly from, like, San Diego people, because I played there for so many years. I had a large fan base amassed, and a lot of them were sort of middle-aged, older people that have that sort of disposable income and, want to help young artists. So that really helped me out there. And, like, the community pulls together too. Like, I donate to everybody's Kickstarter. Like, even if it's only like $20, it's,
Yeah,
it's something. So
you'll get a disc or something out of it, or a T-shirt. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Can't go wrong.
And the thing is, nobody actually cares about the reward, or at least I don't, and most people do not. They're just trying to be helpful.
How many people participated? That's a lot. Supporting fans.
Think like 120, something like that. But, like, $10,000 is, like, a small Kickstarter these days. Like, people's Kickstarters are like $25,000. I'm just like, and I've come a long way emotionally in accepting asking for help as like just a necessity, because culture does not favor art. Like, if you as a citizen want art in the world, you know, there needs to be some collective input. But I still am just like, $25,000 is an entry level salary, you know, like that's a lot of money to be asking for something. I don't know. I'm still struggling with it. It's just, there's never a return on the investment, because everybody in the music industry except for the artist gets paid. Like, we, people that are working multiple jobs, have to come up with $25,000 on our own to properly like record, pay for PR. PR is $5,000. Radio promos, $3,000 to $5,000. Like, all this stuff adds up. If you want to compete seriously in the indie marketplace, like it costs $25,000-$30,000, you know, and it's just insane. So I understand why people do Kickstarters, especially if they have large fan bases. And if you look at it essentially as pre-ordering the record, then that conceptual framework kind of makes more sense to me, or is more, I don't know, justifiable in my head. That still feels weird about asking people for money. But anyway, I ramble.
No, I get you. No, it's cool. You're creative. You're creating right now. You're answering you're answering all the universal music questions. what is the ultimate goal for you? Are you even looking at, like, say, for like the major label move, or are you looking to be like, I'm going to sustain myself in an independent world?
It honestly seems like such an unlikely, I mean, just tremendously unlikely possibility to be picked up by a major label. It doesn't even enter into my like sphere of consideration.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm not a pop artist. You know, I don't respect the major labels. I don't really see any music that I like coming out of them, with like some exceptions, obviously. But yeah, I think all the good music, the truly creative music, for the most part, of course there are exceptions, but are coming out of the independent music scene. So I don't really see a benefit. I mean, obviously the benefit is that you have much wider exposure if you're on a major label, but if that comes with any sort of creative sacrifice, I'm not interested. There's an ecosystem and an infrastructure for artists of my caliber, like PR agents and radio programs and like streaming distribution, playlisting, all that stuff. That kind of stuff exists for people at my level and people between my level and the majors. So like there's a viable path to success, financial success, and like healthy touring schedules with solid fan bases that buy your merch. I mean, you can make 6 figures as an independent artist. It's really, really hard, but like it's a possible goal. Like it's not a dream. Like I believe that I will play at the Ryman. I believe that I will play at the Greek Theater in LA. Like those are just facts to me. They don't seem like insane, out of reach things.
Well, doesn't Don do the bookings out there at the Greek? Can we just call him up? Be like, look, Don, get Stacy on.
I have no idea who Don even is. I just
Don, look, come on now, come on. Run your golden moment of seriousness there. So, okay, so for every Garth Brooks artist, there's 1 million others that aren't Garth Brooks. Does that feel about right? Probably.
1 million is such a large number, but I mean, hundreds of thousands. It's so weird. Like, what is the line?
Yeah.
Between like hobbyists and like I'm really doing it. It's more of like a mindset than. I mean, yeah. I don't think most people are trying to be Garth Brooks, but yeah, there's, especially in Nashville, there are a ton of people that are trying to do this.
A lot of
and
them,
just, yeah.
When they move there, they kind of think that, if they don't know anything about it, they think that that's what they could do, and then they're like, ooh, wait a minute.
Yeah, then they start playing downtown on Broadway, and they're like, oh, this like either sucks and I'm leaving, or yeah, this is cool, I'll do this for a while, and then they just end up staying there forever and never like writing any originals, or like it's an easy place to get sucked in because the money's good, but it's a wasteland. I mean, Broadway to me is a total cesspool.
Yeah. Well,
there's talented people there for sure, but there's less talented people than there are untalented people, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, because it's more like a tourist attraction. It's more like a
exactly.
It's like a here's the thing, and so yeah. But somebody told me recently. I talked to them, and they said that they thought that maybe the pay was getting, like you said, pay is good. They said the pay was getting better down there because a lot of the like huge people have bought those properties now. Maybe none of them are small time at all anymore. Not that they ever were small time, but they were just like not giant corporations or giant superstars that owning them necessarily.
Mm-hmm. The pay at some places has gotten better.
I've saw this now too, and this actually I just saw this the other day, and I didn't realize the venues were doing this. But some places, when they pay with their card, like if they bought like their food, if it's a restaurant or whatever too, or I guess even if they're just paying their tab, there's a tips for the server, and then there's a plus line for the tips for the performer, for the band. Mm-hmm. Do some of the clubs do that? Do you guys see that down there? Some?
There's only one place I know of here that does that, and I just heard about it. I never go there, but yeah, it doesn't seem that popular yet, but it should be. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people obviously won't do it, but some will.
Yeah. I'm really interested in, I guess, being stuck in small town. I like to, catch up with what's going on in the world, you know? What can we do as like a silly independent podcast and the people that listen to my silly independent what can we do to make your life as an artist better? I mean, can we share your stuff? Like, what can we do to help?
Well, a thing that a lot of venues care about are like Spotify metrics. So like streaming music, it means you have more monthly listeners. Like following artists on Spotify, those are things people look at. Like Instagram followers, just making it clear that like we have people that are engaged and care in like a concrete analytics way. If you're the kind of person to buy a CD, if you're one of those dinosaurs, we love you for it. Buy my CD. But otherwise, and like coming to shows is really great, obviously.
If they go to Spotify, they're on Spotify, they're listening to it, it says follow the artist. Now, when they click that button, then that's going to notify them when you put out new music. Is that what happens when they're a follower on Spotify?
Exactly. So it'll appear on their like Spotify artist radar, so they're more likely to listen to new stuff that we release.
Okay. And are there similar things like that? Because I live up here in Little Missouri, and I mean, I'm aware of things, but like I don't listen on all the platforms. Like there's so many platforms like Pandora and iTunes and all these. Are they very similar on those other platforms, or?
You know what's funny is I don't even know, because like Spotify is so prioritized for like indie artists. It's all about Spotify playlists, and even though Amazon has a much bigger like market share of listeners, Amazon isn't like cool or hip, and they don't break artists in the same way that Spotify does. So I honestly don't even know the answer to that question.
Yeah, a really complicated process, I guess.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, social media is kind of everything. It's really like taxing me mentally lately, especially since I went on TikTok. Like that video I posted that went viral, I hadn't posted on TikTok in like, I think months, but I was like, I'm going to start doing TikTok. And I posted that and it went viral. And then I'm like, oh gosh, now I have to keep doing TikTok because I got to take advantage of the algorithm liking me right now. And now I feel compelled to like post a TikTok every day. And it's really like causing me a lot of like stress, man. I like have like panic attacks about what am I going to post on TikTok tomorrow? I was like, who gives a shit? But I have to like, you know, I'm doing it to get the algorithm in shape. So
yeah, and then
follow me on TikTok. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, follow on TikTok, and that takes away from your creative time, because then now you've got an hour, 2 hours in putting together this video on TikTok, and then if you're going to do something on Instagram, there's another hour or two. Now you got 4 hours taken away from your day just on Instagram and TikTok, and you just want to be a musician, and you want to make songs, and you want to record and stuff. That's what you're here to do, right? You're here to be this.
Yeah, exactly. And then in addition to, you know, making money because, you know, bills. So that's...
Yeah, you didn't get paid for the 4 hours making the TikTok video.
No, definitely not. Some people are able to monetize TikTok, but I don't know how to do it. So you monetize it by like talking to people about face cream and then getting a portion of everyone that clicks on the link to buy it. I'm just like, that's not my thing. My thing is singing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're like, and I'm Stacy, and this is my new song. But before I play a song, I always like to look the best, you know. So even if I'm sitting at home alone, I use this luscious face cream here that you can click at the link below, and then they're turned off. They don't even stick around to listen to the song, right?
Exactly. Everybody's attention span is so demolished by our current media climate.
You know somebody, I saw an interview with this young girl who goes viral on every one of her videos. She gets like 10 million views on every video. Okay. So they were like, let's break this down. Let's analyze her. And she was very willing to tell them her secret sauce. And they were like, you know, I could see their greedy little palms as they're watching this, you know, interviewing this girl. And she's like, okay, my scripts are 5th grade level, reading level, and my videos are 36 seconds long. She's like, but your videos might need to be different than that. That's just my algorithm. And they're like, well, how do you know this? And she's like, well, I'm very good at analyzing things. And so it was so every one of her videos gets 10 million views and it's 36 seconds long on TikTok. But that's different on the other ones. She was very clear that it doesn't work the same on the other ones. That's only TikTok. But it might not work for you because that's her algorithm. I don't know. But I was like, wow. And the guy was just like blown away. And he's like, so, okay, so back up. Now, this is your thought process. It was so funny to watch it. And this girl's like, she's probably like 12 or 13. She's very young.
Oh, wow.
And here's this guy, this old, he wasn't old, but he's like, he's a 35-year-old man who's a marketing guru, that's just blown away. Like, okay, I want the secret sauce, for making TikTok go viral. How are you doing this, And she's just laughing. It's just easy. We just do this.
People that grew up with it, it's like second nature for them. As a millennial, it's difficult to... It's still a strange thing to wrap my mind around, but it's just like breathing for them.
Yeah, exactly. It is just like breathing for them. Yeah, you said it very, very good. When you said millennial, that means that you are old enough that you remember when there wasn't internet, or did you always have internet?
I remember when there wasn't internet. I'm 40.
Okay.
So.
Wow. You look about 27. 28.
Thank you very much. I'm banking on that for my success.
Yeah.
I didn't get into the music industry till, I didn't write a song till I was in my 30s, so.
Okay. I'm
a late bloomer.
I should have did the math. But anyway, I really didn't guess you nearly like that. I figured you was 32 tops maybe.
How old are you, Doug?
I am 45 years old. I am
55?
45. I really am
45. Okay.
45. Aquarius. I like long walks on the beach. I like I'm just joking. So I'm an oldie. I'm an oldie. I've reached that place where people refer to me as middle age, and I'm embracing it. I'm like, yeah.
No. Yeah. Rage against the dying of the light. 45 is not middle age. That starts at 50 in my opinion.
Really? Well, I'm with you. I'm a fan. I'm really a fan of your, not just your music now. I like your philosophy.
Thank you. Never give up. Never give in. No.
I've had a great time on the phone with you today, Stacy. I hope you have as well.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Let's give them your website and all that good stuff to go to be a better fan of you.
My website is stacyantonel.com, which is just stacyantonel.com. On Facebook, my handle is Ginger Cowgirl. And on YouTube, it's youtube.com/Ginger Cowgirl. But on Instagram, I'm Stacy Antonel.
Well, that's
and on TikTok, I'm Stacy Antonel. Don't forget TikTok.
Yeah, go like her now. They've already liked you on TikTok. We've been TikToking it.
Don't be offended, okay? Don't be offended when you go on my TikTok. Everything is done with love.
Yeah. It's great. It's great stuff. You won't want to watch any other TikToks once you're there. They're sold. Well, thanks again for being on the show today. And thank you, listeners, for spending your lunchtime with us today here on Lunch with Doug. Today's Lunch with Doug podcast is produced by the Music Exerbia Project and made possible by these great businesses. The Second Edition shop located at 500 East Cherry Street in fabulous Nevada, Missouri. Karen McNair, the friendly neighborhood nutritionist, at 269-267-4644. The Harry Frog Graphics at 150 North Commercial, or call them at 417-381-1077. The Boutique Marketplace, located at 500 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. The Nevada Coin at 123 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. The Gamers Fusion, 617 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. The Craft Tea, find them on Food Truck Pub or on Facebook. The Impact Graphics at 14144 East Highway 54 or call them at 417-283-2056. The Nevada Tobacco and Liquor Store at 125 West Cherry Street on the south side of the Nevada Square. And coming soon, the Red Cherry Alley at 125 West Cherry Street in fantastic Nevada, Missouri.